Hello everybody, it is Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter. It is Monday, September 30th, and tonight you are joining me from my spare room slash soon to be craft room. It finally happened. I have been kicked out of the dining room. So this weekend I've been slowly moving some things into the spare room. It's a little bit tight, but this will be home. At least I think it will. I think it will. But anyway, my husband has promised to help me do a little bit of painting once I get some things organized and move all the junk out of the closet, because I just kind of stuff everything that doesn't really have a home into the closet in the spare room. So things are going to happen. This will be painted, and this is going to be my dedicated craft space slash spare room. Anyway, so that's what's different about tonight. I'm not at my kitchen table. I am going to flip the camera around and we will get started with tonight's project, which is a very easy fun fold. All right, I'm going to turn the camera around. If you get dizzy, you might want to close your eyes. And I'm just going to adjust. This is my tiny little desk. And I'm going to try to just zoom in a little bit here, but this has been giving me, oops, a little bit of headache trying to zoom in. Oh, there we go. There we go. I don't quite know what I'm doing wrong, but I can't seem to get my zoom to work super easily today. Anyway, that's fine. I think we're good. I'm just bringing up my laptop to make sure my hands are in view. So it looks good. So some of you may have caught a reel I posted on Friday with this fun fold. I was using the stamps from September's Paper Pumpkin and some of the paper from the Iconic Celebrations Designer Series paper pack. So if you caught this reel, this is the project we're going to do tonight, except instead of an autumn themed card, I am going to make a Christmas themed card. Hello, Carol from Minnesota. I see you. Thanks for tuning in. And Phyllis from Tennessee. Thanks for joining me live tonight. Okay, so we have our basic card base and pool party. This is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored and folded at 4.25 on the 8.5 inch side. Hey, Robin, thanks for tuning in. I have got a piece of basic white for the inside layer. This is 5.25 by 4. This is some Designer Series paper from the Snowy Scenes pack. And this is 2 5/8 by 5 3/8. And then I've cut a whole bunch of pieces from the Nested Essential Dies. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these, but I'm definitely using these two. So if you don't have the Nested Essential Dies, you can just cut your cardstock. This one is 3 by 2 3/8. This green one is 2.5 by 1 7/8, and this little white piece is 2 1/8 by 1 3/4. So if you don't have these dies, you can easily just cut your cardstock to those measurements. All right, so to get started, we do need our paper trimmer. So the handy thing about this new space, this little desk I have, it has a slide out keyboard tray that fits my paper trimmer perfectly, right? So how easy is that? So we're just going to cut 1.5 inches off the front of our card base. And then as soon as we chop this off, we're going to score this strip at 2 inches. So make sure your cutting blade is out of the way and just score it at 2 inches. All right, that's all we need the paper trimmer for. I'm going to put that away. Now, this strip that we just scored and folded, we're going to glue this to the inside of the card. And then we'll cover over the piece we glued down with the basic white. But before I do that, I'm going to stamp on it. So I'm just lining up the edge of this fold right at the left edge of the inside of the card, so it's flush with the edge of the card. All right. So my plan originally was to stamp my sentiment on the front of the card and use these layering pieces, but I've decided on something else kind of last minute, literally 2 minutes before 7. I was cutting out another piece of paper with the nested essential dies because I had a different idea. So what I'm going to do is stamp my sentiment, but I'm also wanting to be mindful of where it's going to go, because I'm hoping that I can keep it covered with the flap. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm just lining up my paper where it's going to lay, and I can see my little flap is right here. So I want to stamp not quite in the middle, but maybe 1/4 of an inch up towards the top of that not designer series paper, basic white. So I'm not going to be quite in the middle. I'm going to be just a titch above that, and hopefully that flap will cover it. But if it doesn't, it's probably only going to bother me. I don't think anybody else would even pay attention or be annoyed about that. So before I put my stamps away, I'm going to add some snowflakes. Now the stamps and the sentiment that I used are from the reindeer, now I can't remember, it's either Reindeer Days or Reindeer Fun stamp set. It's going to bother me. I should know the name of things when I'm showing you. Let me just flip to it in the catalog. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. Let's see. It is the Reindeer Fun stamp set. Reindeer Fun, not Reindeer Days. Okay, so now that I have this stamped, I'm going to glue that white piece down, and I'm going to cover up that part of the strip that I glued down to the inside of the card. So this card will look a little more polished. And I think I got the sentiment right exactly where it needed to be, so that was lucky. All right, so just glue this down. This is a very easy fun fold, and you can do this in like with your card base that is 5.5 by 8.5. You can do it with this card design, or if you cut your card to 4.25 by 11 and score it at 5.5, you can still cut 1.5 inches off of the edge of your card and do a similar unfold, just in a different orientation. So this is just really versatile and super easy. So while I have my glue going good, I'm going to adhere this piece of designer series paper just to the front flap of the card. Like so. It's a little weird going live in my spare room. It does have its pluses though, because I can actually close the door, and it feels a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say quiet, but it's more like there's less distraction. That's the word I'm looking for, distraction. Okay, so I have got my 2 pieces of cardstock that I cut out with the dies. This I'm going to use on the back side just to make it look a little more polished. And this piece I'm going to either glue or pop up right on this little strip. That's our folding mechanism. But I want to add some snowflakes, so I'm just going to stamp the snowflakes right on the pool party. So I'm using pool party ink, on pool party cardstock, which I kind of like to do. I love stamping the same color ink on the same color cardstock. I think it has a really nice effect. Okay, so I'm done with that. Let me just get the ink pad out of the way. And now, so originally I was just going to layer these pieces and stamp the sentiment on the front, but what I decided to do was cut another rectangle with the nested essential dies, and I'm going to add snow to the bottom of this pool party. So to do that, I'm just going to freehand cut the bottom of this die with a little bit of curve. I'm going to try to keep my cuts gentle so I don't get any jagged edges, which I did actually. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit jagged, but I think it'll be fine. So, I mean, I could always turn it around and try again, but I think this is going to work just fine. Well, before I commit, maybe I'll finish up. So I cut these deer out of the reindeer, what is the name of the DSP? The Reindeer Days Designer Series paper. Now, there are reindeer fun dies that match the stamp set, but they also, the dies cut out some of the images in the Designer Series paper. So I did that. I just used one of the dies to cut out this deer, and Designer Series paper isn't as firm or dense as cardstock, so I cut the same shape out of green cardstock, and I thought what I'd do is just adhere that Designer Series paper right onto the green cardstock, and that way it's going to be a little more stiff because this entire image is too big for my nested essential die. So some of it is going to be over the top, and then this way it's not going to sag or bend, right? It'll just have a little more density. Maybe that's the right word. So I'm just going to line up that deer right onto that cardstock. And if I do it right, you won't even know. And that's the beauty with Tombow, because you can move it around a bit. So let me know if you've ever done this. Just like reinforce your Designer Series paper with cardstock so it doesn't bend. Maybe it's just a me thing. It might be just a me thing. So now I'm going to add my snow. If I can get my glue going. One thing I notice about my new craft space is I don't have as much light. So I'm going to have to bring in some more lamps, I think. All right, so I've just glued the snow to the bottom. I'm making sure everything's lined up. And then I'm just going to, I could pop the deer up or I can glue it. And I think I'm going to glue it and pop this piece up with dimensionals right on this strip. So I know that the antlers are going to be just above this die, so I'll make sure that I don't glue past the mama deer's ears. Wait, is it a mama deer? I don't know if mama deers have antlers, so this might be a daddy deer. I could be wrong, but I can't recall ever seeing a doe with antlers, at least not on the southern part of the island where I live or in the prairies where I grew up. All right, I've got lots of glue on there. So I'm just going to stick this down like so. I think that is just ridiculously cute. Hey Janice, I see you. Thanks for tuning in. So options, I can glue it down or I can pop it up, and either way works. I think I'm going to pop it up. So I'm just going to add my dimensionals right to the strip. Oh, thanks, Brenda. I think it's pretty cute too. I mean, the designer series paper does all the work. Full disclosure, I've had this stamp set for a while now and I haven't even stamped the deer or colored it in. There's two different images and I have not stamped them just because I haven't been brave enough to color them in. I know that I won't make it as beautiful as this paper, but I should probably try. I've got all the blends, so. All right, so I'm just lining this up, popping it down, and this card is done. I mean, you could add some bling. If Karen was here, she would tell me to add bling, but the bling is downstairs. I haven't moved that part up to my craft room yet, so this is it. Just like so. Super easy. This was the one I made on Friday, which is same but different. And honestly, it's because this little snail stamp is just the cutest. I had an idea on the weekend that all the cards that I send out, I'm going to stamp that little snail on the envelope because, you know, snail mail. Oh, hello, Karen. You are watching. I know, always bling, right? I just don't want to go downstairs and get it. Oh, I almost forgot. So this designer series paper I cut out just to glue onto the back of this piece. And what I realized, because I popped it up with dimensionals, I can't glue it flush. So I should have just glued it. But what I will do is I'm just going to glue it onto the strip, and there's going to be a little bit of a gap. But it just makes that look a little more finished instead of having like that naked strip, right? So I just want to make sure it's flush and doesn't pop out. Yeah, I almost forgot. So yeah, actually it's not too bad popped up. It's just fine. So that's it. Oh, thanks, Robin. Yeah, I agree. It's perfect, right? Thank you, Janice. I love this DSP too. So, oh wow, we were quick. It's not even 20 minutes in. I'm going to flip this camera around at the risk of you seeing my unpainted, super small spare room. And it is messy. I've got tons of stuff on the bed behind me that hasn't found a home yet. And the bed is huge. It's so big, it takes up most of the space. So I don't know, I guess it'll work out, right? If I get exhausted from crafting, I can just lay down and have a nap. But maybe one day when we don't have as many visitors, I'll put in a sofa bed or something. So 3 things to tell you about. So if you're not interested in what's coming up with Stamping Up, this is a great time to say goodbye and not finish watching, because I'm just going to tell you about some specials that are happening. But if you are interested, stay tuned. Okay, so first of all, I am working on the More Than Autumn free online class. So the cards are designed. I'll just give you like a very fast sneak peek. Super fast. Okay, so sometime in the next week, I will record videos for those 3 cards using the More Than Autumn stamp set, actually the More Than Autumn bundle. And I will post them online. I'll post them on my Facebook page and I will post them on YouTube. If you don't have the More Than Autumn bundle, then these cards are designed so you could use anything in your stash. Just use the same card design. So tune in for that. I don't have the exact date when I'm going to post them, but it will be hopefully sometime before the end of the weekend. So if you were my customer in September and you spent $50 or more, then those card kits will be mailed out to you. You probably won't get them before I post the classes, but they are gonna hit the mailbox this weekend. So those of you who've ordered, those are coming in the mail for you, unless I see you in person. And in October, Stamping Up has kits going on sale. So I think it's 30% off. I want to say all their card kits. So if you like card kits, now's a great time to grab some of those. And I'm pretty sure there's another joining special for the month of October. I just can't tell you with certainty what it is. I don't think it's product based. I think if you join, you get to spend more to build your starter kit. And what I mean by spend more is you get more money to build your starter kit. It's always a flat rate to join up with Stampin' Up. So if you're in Canada, if you are looking for a good deal for some craft supplies and you don't have a demonstrator, then we can certainly chat about it. If you're in the States or another country and you'd like to join up and get a good deal on a starter kit and you don't know anybody, then reach out and I can probably hook you up with somebody from your country. So joining specials are always a really good time to get a great deal on your craft supplies. You get a discount on all the stuff you buy for a minimum amount of time. I want to say it's probably going to be 5 months, but I'd have to check the calendar because it just depends on the cycle. So yeah, so that's it. So my More Than Autumn online class, that's coming, so watch for that. Kit sale, joining special. Oh, and there's still the deal on the paper pumpkin. So if you sign up for paper pumpkin before the 10th, you can get 40% off your first paper pumpkin, and I love them. I love them. They're my handy little go-to craft kit. So I think that's all I got for you guys. So thank you very much for joining me live, seeing what I'm up to. You are the first to see my new craft space. I am missing the view with all the trees and my little spider sun catcher, so I might have to move them up here, maybe to that little window over there. Yeah, that's it. If you catch me on a replay, say hello, tell me where you're from, and I will see everybody next Monday. Thanks again for tuning in.